Moving on to what's labeled in our transcription as A verse. This is measure 17. We now move into the key of D minor. Let's just state at this point that you're going to need to alter the tuning to play through the rest of this arrangement. String number 6, I drop down a whole tone to a D. String number 5, same thing, I drop down a whole tone. That brings that down to a G. Alright. So looking at our transcription, the melody primarily lies on string 2. You know, once in a while I'll jump up to string number 3 for a lower tone, or string number 1, for example, for a higher tone. Now when I'm playing that melody, my third finger, or ring finger, usually plays that note along with a bass note, for example, that could be string 6 or 5, depending on the chord. And most of the time, my index and middle will play the harmony notes or the filler notes in between. They often will land on, for example, beats 2 and 3 of a measure. If you're having trouble, maybe putting in those filler notes, those would be the first things you could drop out and maybe add in later. Focus on melody and maybe adding a bass note right on the very first beat of each measure. Really conquering that, getting the rhythm of it, and then adding in the filler notes in between. They're obviously important, but the bass and melody are at the top of the list. Alright, enough said. Let's get on here. We have a D minor chord to get us started. This D minor has our 3rd fret, 2nd fret, and 3rd fret again. Here's an example of the melody played with my ring. Got the bass. There are filler notes. Now I come down, play some filler notes in the melody on string 2. Got a little bar with my first finger there. Again, melody and ring into a G minor chord, just kind of pivot around it. Alright, so I'm not going to say too much more about this technique of melody with ring and thumb, doing those kind of things with a filler, because it's pretty much the same throughout the entire transcription. That's the technique applied. Maybe one more thing is that in order to get the melody to sound louder, I'm using what's called a rest stroke with my ring finger, where I play through the string and land on the string above, which in turn makes that note louder, so I can make that sound above the harmony. I really hit the bass notes and the filler notes very lightly, so that that melody stands above everything else as well. Alright, so we got our D minor, G minor here. Now we're going to state the same melody over the G minor chord. Back to our D minor. Now I'm going to reset my hand on this D minor so that I get some low harmony notes here with my 1st and 3rd finger. Ventured way up onto that 1st string for some melody. Now measure number 27, I'm playing an A chord here, and I have to bar across my 1st finger, getting many 2nd frets. My 2nd finger's on the melody in measure 27. Measure 28, I'm back to D minor again. That was G minor and D. Okay, we're over our A chord at this point, and I'm going to do some thirds. So 2 notes at a time. Now notice I use my 4th and 3rd. There's open strings. So this is measure number 34. After playing the 2nd frets with my 3rd and 4th finger, I slide them up to the 3rd and 4th, or to the 3rd fret. Now notice my 4th finger just sliding along there. A bar giving us this B flat chord in measure 36. Keep that bar for measure 37. Much looks like a C7 grip here, but it's not because of our tuning. Again, our bar to get the A chord. and that is our A verse. When you feel comfortable, obviously, then we move on and we'll tackle the B verse, which is the third lesson video.